if you saw my Naramon video, you might already know this one. Now, that is a skin, but even though it looks like not that's another skin, but this, you know, a welding rod or something, part of a car, it is really, really good. And part of the reason I bought the skin is because I just love heavy melee weapons a lot. So ever since Slam got reworked, a lot of the heavy weapons just went through the roof damage-wise. Melee Animosity, for instance, you land some quick attacks, a little bit of an attack speed mod, can stick on Primed Fury. It's really worth, especially because it's a Tenet weapon, really worth getting a whole 5 forma or even 6 forma into it, so you have 90 capacity. That way you also don't have to put double Umbra mods in, they just fit naturally. Yeah, again, I do have a Riven. It just fell into my hands. I only re-rolled it once and I got this roll. What is that luck, right? Crazy. Yeah, there's slight optimizations that can be made to the build for sure, but it's good enough to shred. So you're probably starting to see a pattern here with the way I'm kind of quote-unquote priming them, or at least crowd controlling them. Let's actually do something else. Let's go for cold. Alright, so you attack them, they die. Look at that. Yeet. Red crits. Does take a while for them to go splat because they're so extremely heavily armored, but if you strip their armor in any shape or form, you will see millions upon millions of damage. In fact, in the Naramon video, if you watched it, you see me doing some heavy slam crits for 50 million and beyond. Cause Saryn, yeah. Armor strip. Not that this, you know, damage that we have going here isn't enough to kill. It certainly is. So on the normal slam, which you also have in the combo, you get a chain like that, right? Hold block and E. Look at him go. Sweet crowd control. On double jump E, you get a crowd control slam like that. And on heavy attack, kaboom. I think the heavy attack slams do so much damage you don't even see the actual damage numbers. Just an intuition. So yeah, one of my favorite melee weapons in the game. And last but not least, I did make a separate video just about this gunblade. All of the gunblades are pretty good. And honorable shout out, I'll include that as the 6th. The Corufell, the Gunscythe. But yeah, my #1 melee weapon, especially now that Wrathful Advance and Tenukai are here, is of course the Vastilok. We will be briefly swapping to a different frame, namely Kullervo, because it's a lot of fun to run it on him. It's not the only one you can run it on. You can certainly run it with Varuna and Melee Influence, or a whole host of other frames, but I do believe this particular gunblade is one of the best on this guy, Mr. Kill You All himself. Yep, whole squad is just gone. Okay, that guy is quite diehard. Right. So what's really amazing also about Vastilok is not just melee influence, as you saw, and its interaction with, for instance, Collective Curse, but the fact that it does... The fact that it does slash damage is just phenomenal. For single target, you know, slash is the #1 D.P.S status in the game. It's what we prime targets with Viral for, to do 325% more slash damage, because you can't get around it. Slash is just the best. That's the sick interaction between melee influence and collective curse. I'll show you one last time because it's just so glorious. In fact, I'll just let this skill do the work. We are talking about Uko's Storm. When I say this skill, it's just lovely. When you collective curse and Uko's Storm, every single enemy within their radius triggers every single other enemy with damage, and even though the damage numbers are pretty small, they all just melt. So a similar thing happens when you use melee influence, in that they just die. Oh no, like us. I'm not the luckiest kullervo player. Somehow I get in situations like that where they break my overguard and I'm just left with the bill. It's like, you gotta pay now. The wages of sin are death. So here is the build for the Vastilok, if I didn't show you already. Melee influence, quite a bit of electricity damage through focus energy. Melee influence gives you a buff, which then places all melee elemental stats on every enemy within 18 meters. Discipline's merit grants you a Tenukai opportunity every 4 attacks. With this amount of attack speed, we're getting four attacks within like 2 seconds, so all the damn time. Weeping Wounds and Blood Rush grant us red crits and plus 480% status chance at 12 times combo multiplier. Pretty absurd. And with Kullervo, of course, we're setting our base crit chance to something like 300, 400, 500% depending on your power strength. Blood Rush amps that up even more if you have it maxed. If you're not a legendary rank noob like myself and you actually have this mod maxed, then you have 480% crit chance with it as well. Condition Overload works really nicely with Vastilok as well, because you're firing 9 projectiles, as you see here, multi-shot of 9, triggering Impact, Puncture, Slash, Electric, and Viral. So Condition Overload is granting you like 4 times 8 equals... Supposed to be better at maths, man. Can't be making videos and be so terrible about maths. All right, 5 times 8. Come on, we got this. It's 400%. Yes, because 10 times 8 is, of course, 800%. Okay, Amalgam Organ Shatter, totally worth getting, because with Kullervo, for instance, you have very high heavy attack efficiency. It's his passive, and then you can spam some heavy attacks. So because I was just showing you that damage with Collective Curse, let me show you what just Vastilok on its own can do, so you don't get a false impression. Okay, sorry guys, I immediately just buffed myself with Wrathful Advance. It's just a habit, you know? It's just a habit. I'll let it run out though. And cool fact, when you get a Tenukai opportunity, ooh, am I gonna die again? Maybe. No, I managed to res myself. Okay, so when you get a Tenukai opportunity, you can Wrathful Advance, not for free energy, but like immediately. It speeds up the cast animation, the attack animation. It's really good. So the only thing we're gonna cast here is Recompense to keep our Overguard active, and you can see the pure Vastilok D.P.S. It is basically an AoE weapon. 2024 improved melee a lot with the Tenukai system, with the melee arcanes. Yeah, samurai, get some. Dodge this. Right, so that is my top 5 melee weapons. I hope you really enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. And I almost forgot. The bonus weapon, the Gunscythe. Yes, it is quite impressive, but it's not quite on the level of Gunblades to me, because you have to get in there and scythe about. Some people might love that. It's a regular heavy scythe with a Gunblade, or rather Gunscythe feature. You see here, I haven't really bothered investing any Forma, more than one to slot the obligatory Tenukai on there. Even just like that, it still shreds incredibly with just this basic loadout, no legendary mods on it whatsoever. Should really put Amalgam Organ Shatter on, but can't squeeze it in. Shreds just fine like this. You do want at least Arcane Strike to speed it up, because it is a little on the slow side. And yeah, all you really need is something like Wrathful Advance or Arcane Avenger, and then you're good to go. Zoom. Yeah, so it does some damage. Especially if you collective curse them. So there we only got an orange crit. Our Wrathful Advance had faded, but it was still enough to kill. Slightly out of practice with melee weapons, apparently, because what I should be doing when the Tenukai procs is this, using first skill immediately. Like that. And the cool thing about Gunblades is it just lets you do it in place, whereas with the Gunscythe you actually teleport to your victims. They can only be called that because you're just the angel of death with this thing. Where did they go? Shout out and kudos to Mr. Warframe guy. He made a hilarious Varuna X Corufell video featuring some spicy anime clips. Yeah, I have my damage numbers abbreviated, so it's not as impressive looking, but it actually allows me to play the game. But I really enjoyed his little damage video with Corufell and Varuna and thought it was very fun. Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll put as much effort into editing as he does. It's just sick. I'm just starting my YouTube journey, so nowhere near the level that he's at, but who knows? Some of these Warframe YouTubers have been going at it for years, so I'm interested in seeing where I'll be at this time next year. Really hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon, I hope. All the best. Like, comment, share, subscribe. That would really help me out, or not. Cheers.